morning, and thank you for staying with us. I-24 News Morning Edition, the place where you should be. It is September 17th, 2014, and it is the time to say hello and good morning to my one and only Anthony Grant, who joins me daily to discuss the news you missed while scanning the headlines.
Hello, good morning. It seems like we just met. We did.
We did, didn't
Yes.
we? Yeah, just
And
a
today-
second outside.
Yeah, we did. Today you're going to have Haaretz two ways. First article from Haaretz is sort
Sounds
of
very kinky, but
yeah, it's a
okay.
domestic issue. Attorney General of Israel is urged to investigate Lieberman's secret Vienna visit. Well, Lieberman, of course, is Israel's foreign minister. And some might call him the Teflon foreign minister because issues like this tend to bounce off of him. But what it's issued here is a so-called secretive trip to Vienna that he took on Monday for sensitive diplomatic meetings. But there's concern, was it on the taxpayer dime, unnecessarily so?
I love you for bringing this up because, you know, hold and behold, we also have with us in studio Arad Nir, Senior Foreign Affairs Editor of Channel 2, which is a perfect timing because I saw that headline yesterday.
Interesting.
And that headline was, first, do you know what he went there for? Does anybody?
I can assume, but I won't dare talk it about
not
you.
gonna
We do know that he met with an Austrian businessman, Martin Schlaff. Not exactly sure what went on there.
Schlaff, or at least an Israeli who was once captured in Libya.
Big sponsor of Israeli politics for years now.
Okay.
He didn't visit here for a decade because he was involved in the investigations against Lieberman and he wouldn't want to be investigated himself.
Right.
Now, apparently he was
love that we have
cleared.
him here. Yeah.
Both of them were cleared, Lieberman and Schlaff, but they don't meet here, they still meet
They
in
still meet
Yes,
in
and
Vienna.
apparently the Austrian Foreign Ministry was caught a little bit by surprise as well. So again, will Attorney General Yehuda Weinstein be investigating? Well, some members of the Knesset would like to see that happen, so it might. We'll see.
If we are talking about conspiracies, I may add that Lieberman started his visit in Vilnius, Lithuania, which in Hebrew spells nearly like Vina. You know, we say Vilna, not Vina. Maybe they tried a little cover-up, so people will be
get the one.
no one else.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, as that develops, Haaretz the other way, international story, which we've already talked about. Israel, Palestinians reach Gaza reconstruction deal under UN supervision. Without going into that, so that's international there.
No, definitely, as we said, but there's still the clock ticking on the truce that is going to end on the 26th. This may be something that helps.
Yeah, the lead role to the Palestinian Authority, as the UN envoy Robert Seri is taking pains to point out. And a completely other side of the world, an issue near and dear to my heart. And El País, a Spanish newspaper, reports that Amazon killings are showing the scale of illegal logging in Peru. On September earlier this month, 4 Ashaninka indigenous people were killed in the Amazon rainforest on the border between Peru and Brazil, and at least one of them had been threatened after showing authorities proof of illegal logging, which apparently is taking out about $250 million a year from the Peruvian economy, according to Interpol. So these deforestation issues, we think it's just Brazil, but it's affecting Peru as well, wildlife issues. So, and of course, the Spanish newspaper is quick to pick up on this, of course, the links to Peru and Spain going back so far. So
of course.
Yeah. And then flipping it back to Scotland, because of course all eyes are on the United Kingdom, or
my favorite story of the week, if not the decade.
Yeah, last-ditch pledge of more powers for Scotland, coming from David Cameron.
For all.
Fashion for all. That might be one.
Yes.
Transferring more powers to Scotland is suggested if they reject independence. You know, it's coming fast and furious. All the debate about what's going to happen during the how it's going to go.
How it's going to go, and you know, we'll take a closer look at that tomorrow, definitely. And you know, if it happens, I think that's a trickle effect for all of Europe. I'll be happy for Europe to take the lead in the news for several weeks, I got to say.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Middle East.
Yeah, it could be interesting for a little while. But in the meantime, my favorite paper in Baghdad, Al-Mada, has this headline just in time for this.
That you read every morning.
Every morning, at least the headline. Stationery prices have plummeted in Baghdad. And we're talking about, you know, the beginning of the school year. I'm not exactly sure of all the reasons why, but devaluation of Chinese currency is one of them. But interesting to just note that, you know, we hear only bad news coming from this city, Baghdad and Iraq. And here's a basic, like, you know, there's some semblance of normalcy in some spheres, such as domestic schooling and that sort of thing.
Opening, and people still live there,
and they're buying lots of notebook paper. So, you know, that's a good thing. Scandal, though, brewing in the United States with the NFL. This is something that's on multiple fronts, but we have here now backing for Condoleezza Rice to take over the scandal-hit NFL. And she's actually expressed interest in the past.
Seriously?
Seriously, support's growing for her to get behind the possibility of helming becoming commissioner for the NFL.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of these accusations of domestic violence involving more than one player now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
and
they're in
being
trouble.
Covered up, and that people are. And she's got backing to basically become the commissioner?
Well, apparently she has some support. You know, she's no longer involved in matters of state. Some would say good, some would say bad, but you know, but you know, she's maybe available for this, so maybe she could whip it back into shape.
That would be great. That would be an interesting
development.
Career. Yes.
And a man fell through the roof at London Fashion Week. It's not all about Scotland.
No. I saw his head hit the scaffolding, man fell through the roof.
Yeah, the Top Shop show or something like that.
What did he not like?
You know, he was
so bad.
Filling in for Joan Rivers. I don't know, but falling in for Joan Rivers.
This is a faux pas. I will not allow this to be worn anywhere.
Yeah, yes. So I hope he's okay, but he tumbled through that sort of, you know, topiary style, or
Tony, I missed you, I gotta say. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
and we don't know what in the middle of what show that was.
I think it was Top Shop, you know, the one that Kate Moss is her Top Shop. It's sort of fashion for the masses.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's awful stuff.
So we hope he's okay.
Yes.
But people were live tweeting it. It's adding some twist to the typical fashionista activities.
Yes. Moving on.
Oh, if we have time for one more, The Independent talks about this incident on a Pakistani passenger jet, where passenger power forced some politicians off the plane. They were waiting for like a long time. The politicians, I think it was a former minister of the Interior, and having VIP treatment. They caused a delay of, I think, a couple of hours. And finally, when they were allowed on, the passengers said, you know what, we've had it with you guys. You're not VIPs anymore. You know, you're not getting on this plane.
And we all should learn from these people.
Absolutely.
Really.
Power to the people.
It's power to the people, and you cannot get on this government, I would say, in some parts of the world, and I will not mention which. Tony, Grant, thank you so much for listening to the studio, and we'll see you in the next hour. Thank you.